Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Hernancia is here, host of the Business Bros podcast, where we are helping you take control of your branding, your marketing, helping you create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow. And we got a great show for you scheduled right about now. Two ladies from New Venture Escrow are in the house. We're going to be talking about all kinds of updates in the real estate market, as well as what the heck to do with your time during the COVID lockdown. So ladies, without further ado, Tania and Trey, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
You know what? There's three of us. I should do this gallery mode thing. Boom.
Yeah, that's what I have going on
Split
right now.
Screen. Perfect. And I can see all you guys at the same time. So ladies, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Let's start off with Tania. Where'd you come from and why Escrow?
So I'm originally from Imperial Valley, El Centro, small town.
Hot.
I came out to San Diego to go to San Diego State. And after being here for a few years, I said, there's no way I'm going back.
Yeah, it's too hot over there.
It's way too hot. There's nothing to do. There's just not a lot of opportunity. So I wanted to come out here, stayed out here, was in the service industry for a while, bartended, did all that fun stuff to put myself through college. And then I got a job with an attorney and started working with foreclosures. So dealt with foreclosures throughout the U.S., not too much directly in San Diego County. And I had a good friend of mine who we just always keep in touch, and she was in real estate. I didn't really know exactly what she did. She was just, I just knew she had a very flexible schedule. She drove a nice car. She, she got to do a lot of just meetings with people, got to meet a lot of people. So we kind of got to talking one day. I wasn't happy where I was at. Sorry.
It's all right. The Yorkie happens.
Yeah, that's Nala. And so she said, we are looking for another rep for my company. We need someone that speaks Spanish. We need someone that's personable, and that's you. Obviously, it was after a couple of bottles of wine. We got a bit about it, and I wasn't even sure what she did. I wasn't even sure what escrow was. I did not know anything about it. And she said, you know what? Escrow can be taught. You're driven. You're a hard worker. You can learn all that but I just know you'll do well. And I just, I took a leap of faith and said, you know what? I'm going to try something new. Sales is scary. And, I jumped right in. I got put into the Chula Vista territory where I knew absolutely no one, not a single agent, and just kind of immersed myself in everything and anything real estate. Anywhere I could possibly think I would see a realtor, I was there. And that's kind of how it started. And that was about 6.5 years ago. So I've been with New Venture Escrow for 6.5 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being a rep, being in the sales, whether it's like a title rep or an escrow, you guys get the fun stuff. Yeah, you're required to make sales, but that comes at the expense of you getting to meet new people every single day, saying hello, shaking hands, and kissing babies, right? Like that's your job pretty much every single day. And hopefully those relationships blossom into something where it becomes, closed business.
That's what we do. It's a relationship business, and we like to see ourselves as connectors. We meet people all day, every day. Even still now, where basically all our meetings are through Zoom. We're still constantly connecting with a ton of people in different industries, not even just real estate, and trying to bridge the gap.
Trey, how about you? How'd you hop into this sport?
Yeah, so I hail from the land of Tijuana, born and raised in TJ. But I mean, I've been in San Diego for about 15 years now. And my background, I actually started working in the nonprofit sector. I know when I met you, we talked a little bit about it, but did everything from working with homeless youth, social services, to academic programming for kids. And I also got to do some stuff on the back end for the organization where I was working at, and doing fundraising, communication, some marketing. And it's kind of where I got a taste of, we don't call it sales, but it was very much the same, where I'm out and about showcasing what we do and building relationships and partnerships. And so I was doing that. I was in that field for about 5.5 years, and just kind of reached a place where I was looking for something new. I wanted to kind of grow outside of the organization. And around that time, my former colleague was she was friends with Tania since they were in kindergarten. And she said, hey, you know what? You're doing this social thing, being out there, doing a lot of meetings and events, and Tania does the same, and she's looking for somebody to join her team. Why don't you meet with her and see what that's about? T and I met. I call her T. So when I say T, I mean Tania.
Okay, cool.
We
T Dre.
T and Dre. We met for coffee, and then the rest is history. It's just really cool. Because meeting Tania at the time, I was already working full time. I had an idea of kind of what kind of leadership and team and environment I wanted to work within. I didn't know anything about escrow either, or I always liked real estate and learning about real estate, but had never been in the industry itself. So meeting Tania, we just clicked, and I loved everybody that I met from the company. And I said, I'm going to take the leap of faith, and here we are.
Going for it. Going for it.
Year and a half later.
Well, Tania, you got some background in foreclosures. The market is shifting. You're going to talk to real estate agents, and they're going to tell you the sky is awesome and everything's great and everything's hunky-dory, but the writing's on the wall. Things are going to change. That doesn't mean that people aren't buying or selling. That's a different conversation, right? But the market is in a shift, and it's in a change. We're probably going to start seeing things again like short sales and foreclosures. Tell me a little bit about what life was like back then.
So I actually worked for an attorney our clients were all the big mortgage companies. And what they would do is they would send us properties in pre-foreclosure and foreclosure. We would assess them for damages and actually file an insurance claim for all the damages to recover money for the mortgage company. I was dealing with all the realtors just because they were the ones that were actually going into the property, making sure if there was damages or not, and then reporting back to us. So it was a little bit different for me and the side that I was on at the time, because
were you guys issuing like BPOs?
So we weren't issuing them. We were actually relying on the agents to issue them and send them our way so that way we can review the properties to see if there was any damages. That was back then when, copper plumbing was being stolen, properties were being burnt down because, they couldn't agree with the fact that the bank was taking back their home. It was just a really sad side of it. I had to, because we were an attorney, people would call us thinking we were the foreclosure attorney, which we weren't. But just having to talk to a lot of these borrowers that were just losing their homes, it was devastating. So being able to jump from that side to the escrow side where it's a lot more positive and we're part of that experience where people are becoming homeowners or selling to upgrade or investing, it's just a lot more rewarding.
Trey, you guys both talk to a lot of different realtors, even right now. What's the sense that you're getting, even though they might be optimistic? What kind of questions are you guys getting from agents right now? What are their biggest concerns?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything from, we started off with this stay-at-home order about a couple of weeks ago, and it was like, how are we going to find solutions for our day-to-day? Like, how are we going to be showing homes and figuring out that business strategy? And then you have the side where there's just information coming for left and right for everybody. And what does this actually mean? With the stimulus plan, what does this mean for my business? And should I be planning long-term? A lot of this information tends to be very vague. So when we're talking to agents, they just want to find somebody that can clear up these questions, right? And we're trying to step in and be a resource and a connector in that sense too. I think another thing that agents are really focusing on too is understanding where the consumer is at. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, people losing their jobs, having to make financial decisions right now for their future so they don't foreclose, have to short sale. So understanding the consumer side, understanding how to run a business, how to keep a team motivated, and how to digest all of the information, I think are some of the big things that we're seeing constantly. And even though we are escrow reps, we're always a resource and a connector, like Tania mentioned earlier. So we're just trying to do our part in continuing to educate and facilitating these conversations amongst the community. So
marketing strategies have changed. I can't really hold an open house like I wanted to. I can't even really meet with people in general. What are you guys trying to help or like advise agents to do as far as to continue to get more business, to stay top of mind and talk to clients?
I think a lot of it right now has been approaching it just, by offering your help to anyone else that's out there, reaching out to family members, past clients, anyone in your sphere, and just coming in with like a helpful hand as opposed to just continuing to just try to sell, because I do feel that during this time everyone's a little bit sensitive and it's not a good approach to, to try to be super salesy right now. And it's coming from a place of educating the client is the biggest thing right now. Educate your clients as to what the market looks like, educate about, what's going on with rates, educate, because a lot of people are scared and a lot of people aren't sure what's going to happen. And the fear of, the uncertainty is a big problem. So the more you educate, the more value you're going to bring to your clients. And that's, I think, the biggest thing you can do as an agent right now is educate, educate, educate. And I think you'll see, the rewards with that.
Let's roll with that then. Go ahead, Trey. You were going to say
I
something?
was just going to add that another thing is we all know at this point, we've been in this stay-at-home order for a little while. We know business is continuing to happen. People still want to buy and people still want to sell. And a lot of it also comes down to building more community within the real estate. There's no sense of competitiveness at this point. At least it's not as high. People are now coming together because if I'm an agent on one side having to work with another one, if I can trust you on the other end that you're going to do business responsibly during this time, do it well and do it keeping in mind the sensitivity of the issues, the better we can work together and close the deal. And so another thing that I've seen that agents are doing beyond just identifying how am I going to run the business day to day is making that effort to build community with agents in their area and outside, learning from other people's strengths. An agent might be doing a better virtual open house than I am. What can I do? At the end of the day, when all agents do better, it's better for everybody if we help
100%.
each other out.
Yeah, we want to know as much as possible, so we're all stepping up our game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So mortgages are crazy right now. One day rates are really low. Another day the bank's opening up the floodgates. The next day they're pulling back on FICO scores. Like they're all over the place right now. How's that affecting escrow as far as getting things closed and maybe things falling out or rates not being locked in, that sort of stuff?
So we are still seeing a lot of refinances. We're still kind of getting, a lot of those in. And I can't speak for a lot of the banks, but I do know that, they are having some issues, with fundings, depending on if you're, a bigger bank or a smaller little broker. And but for us, like we are seeing some properties fall out of escrow, but the thing is that they're jumping right back in because of the fact that there's not a lot of inventory. Anything that cancels, it's pretty much back in escrow the next day. There's always a backup offer right now. So we are seeing that. We're not seeing a ton of cancellations, but when we are, they're definitely opening right back up.
That's good to hear. That's good. Backup offers right now, especially in a time like this, is a good thing to have for a real estate agent. Yeah, we're still pretty hot when inventory is low. All right, let's talk about marketing, ladies. That's kind of your forte. That's what you guys get to do on a daily basis. And you kind of told me before the show you were thinking of starting a podcast. So I want to know, like, what was your idea? What was your concept? And why even start? Like, what's going through your head? I'm curious.
Do you want to take it, T?
Sure. So it was really just brought up because we recently opened a new office, an awesome open office, really a place where agents can come collaborate. We do have a marketing room where, our company is actually doing a podcast. But what we were thinking of doing is diving deeper with whether it's people we work with or just other people in the industry and, getting to know them a little bit more than just being a realtor. We're part of the San Diego Real Producers platform, and it's really
cool. Jessie, right?
I love her. She's great. Hi.
Shout out to Jessie.
Yeah, so it's just being able to read about each of the agents' past and where they come from, and just diving deeper is huge for everyone. I think to get to know, where you come from and what led you to becoming a real estate agent, and I think that also helps too with having people just be able to build community, like Trey said, and just bringing people together with similar backgrounds. Or I think that's kind of where we were going with it. You can add to it, Trey.
We have a lot of this happening on our day to day as we're connecting with people, and it's like there's this magic in the air sometimes when you start building those relationships and getting to know people a little deeper, right? It just building that trust in those purposeful relationships. And so if we have a way to showcase that, like, why not? We just, and it could be fun. We could keep it engaging. It's something also, I think, as we are sales reps, but we run a business too, and as a resource to the real estate community, like, we also work on our marketing the way that agents would work on their marketing. And so if we're putting these things into practice, it's something that we can also just bring to the table and continue the conversation and support others in when they're in their marketing journey, to say. So I think there's a lot of benefit to just trying something new and using these tools that we already have.
So for you guys fall into this really funky, weird space when it comes to, like, when title people try to create a podcast or when escrow people try to create a podcast, you have these legal things when dealing with agents, right? Like, all this RESPA stuff comes up.
Yeah.
So let me throw some suggestions out there so you can continue to do it. Maybe interviewing agents won't work for fear of, kickbacks, sort of stuff. But if you do, like, days in the life of what you guys do, and then you can create, talk about exactly like what you were talking about, Jay, where, like, this was my day today. Like, this is what we did. This is who we went to go visit. This is who we got to meet. We went to this event. They had a great thing. This was the main point. This is what we learned. Like, if you make it about what you guys did, I think that would be, first of all, fun. You guys get to do all the fun stuff, right?
No, yeah, we appreciate you saying that, because of course we always have to keep in mind, we have the Department of Business Oversight and all of these things that we have to be mindful of as an escrow company when diving into things related to marketing. And so we are really cognizant of that. I think from a company standpoint, New Venture Escrow, we've always really we pride ourselves in being very tech forward thinking. And so I think being able to leverage these tools that we have, like a podcast and marketing room, to align the vision that we have, the fact that we're forward thinking, and there's a lot of businesses out there, whether it be real estate agents or non or outside, that are also forward thinking. It's like, we want to use this podcast to showcase what are they doing different, what's next for them, kind of how are people evolving. And so it's more of it's really a conversation it's not just like providing marketing for the agent, but really more talking about how business is evolving and keeping it neutral.
Yeah, I like the concept of people like to be recognized for what they do, even if they don't, like, even if there's no trophy, just the recognition, right? Like, if you're scrolling down, like, I've made it a mission. So you guys might, if you follow me on Insta, you might have received messages from me in the past, like, week and a half. I am not going through any story without saying something. So, like, as I go through Instagram stories, like, there's a lot of people who you just hit the next button, next, and look at all the stuff, right? It's interesting. Do not leave a profile without leaving a comment. And one of the main reasons for that is because once we've interacted, whether you give me a little heart or you give me a thumbs up or we actually have a conversation, Instagram recognizes that as, engagement. And then you get to see my content a little more often.
I see you.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it shows up, and that's kind of part of branding and marketing, right? Is you got to show up as much as possible in front of as many people as possible. So what I suggest you guys do, if you do a podcast, you highlight your day, but not really interview them. Maybe interview even clients after they're done. Ask them, hey, would you want to be on talk a little bit about your whole example? And then now you have case studies of people that have worked in your office talking about, how wonderful their agents were, how wonderful the loan officers were, or how wonderful their escrow officers were. And it kind of adds to your day, and it's part of your business, and it's not intended for any one particular agent. You're not, giving any advice. You're just kind of saying, hey, great job. Thanks for working with us. This is what you've accomplished. And I don't know, I think it'd be kind of a fun thing to hear you guys, talk about what it is you do. You obviously you have fun with each other, right? And you go different places. I think that would be fun.
Really fun. Appreciate that. We're definitely going to hit you up after this to mastermind on how we can make that happen. So
for shizzle.
Yeah.
Be our mentor.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Hang out with some party girls. Now I know if I ever need to go out and be like, ladies, where's the party at? Hit me up.
No, we hustle. We got to work hard, and but we are very blessed that thankfully, I think what makes all the difference is that we're surrounded by really good people at the end of the day. You know, we understand, at least, and this is something I learned from Tania coming into the industry, it's, you don't necessarily need to work with everyone. You know, you got to find those people that align with your values, that, you know, align with your ethic, and being okay with saying, oh, you know what, this partnership may not be a good fit, and that's okay. And still just continue to put our best foot forward. And thankfully, we've been able to foster some really amazing relationships that make our jobs that much more enjoyable and easier in a way.
That's very much a business maturity level that you can tell when people have reached it or not, right? And there's a difference between always being hungry and starving, right? Like always being hungry, you're out there and you're going out and you're getting it, right? You're talking to as many people as possible. You're being as big a resource as possible. You're just hustling every single day.
Yeah.
But when you meet somebody who's starving, they don't have that mindset of, maybe this is not a good relationship. They're like, you're my next check. Like, what am I going to do to close you right now? And that's kind of
up.
you
People
exactly.
Pick that up any day. So yeah, it's good to. I'm grateful to have Tania as a mentor, and even from a company standpoint, it's something that we talk about often, and I appreciate you saying that, acknowledging that. Yeah, it's important to have that vision and that mindset, and understand that within yourself. You know what you're
100%.
okay with.
Tania,
how do you go about recruiting these ladies or your team? Like, what is it that you look for in a team member?
I think with Dre, I saw she was driven, she was smart. Like I said earlier, kind of what happened with me, I didn't know the business, but that all can be taught. And you see that, and with working with other people that maybe didn't work out in the past, and it's nothing personal. We've stayed friends. Like it's different mentalities and different perspectives. And I think Dre had that drive and vision that I had seen myself. I saw myself in her, so that's how it is. And so I thought that she would be perfect for the team. And honestly, we work really well together. We bounce ideas off each other. We're constantly in communication, which is huge for a team. She brings a lot to the table. She helps me, think outside of what are my usual. You want me to keep going?
Yeah. Shower me with praise, please.
Yeah,
continue. Shower me with praise.
We literally, we make a great team, and I think originally it really was just seeing her drive, and she has a huge heart, and she comes from a place of really caring. So that definitely made me, want to bring her on board.
Good. See, now you got to give it back. Now you got to shower her with praise. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Give all the credit, but I mean, like I said, really, for me coming in, it was more thinking about what kind of leadership and team environment do I want, and company values and culture, and everything was there. But I think the fact that Tania when she started from zero, didn't know anybody, had to learn everything, and she's super driven and has been able to grow tremendously, and just even in the last year and a half that I've been working with her and the company. And
well, on that, what's a day in the life for you guys then? Walk me through a day in the life. Like what's pre-COVID? Pre-COVID, yeah, pre-COVID.
Let's see. We her and I either tag team or split up. I don't know if you wanna touch on this first.
Yeah, so it depends. There's certain accounts that we kind of work together, or if it's a new client, we will make appointments. But mostly our days are all by appointments. A lot of what we've been doing prior to the COVID was we were having a lot of meetings at our new office. I was mentioning we opened a new office. It's a big open space. Just wanting to bring agents to check it out. It's not your typical escrow office. It's very inviting, open kitchen where the escrow officers can hang out, and also be part of some of the sales meetings that we're doing, be a part of some of these meetings that we're having with clients. So we want it to be very interactive, an interactive space where we can collaborate a lot. So we are doing a lot of meetings at the office, or we go out and meet clients at their offices, but it's literally we're from meeting to meeting, and we do a lot of prospecting just like agents do. We jump on the phones, we're on emails, we work on our CRMs. We are constantly working our marketing. We told ourselves this year was the year we were going to do a lot more video. So that was our focus. At the beginning of the year was definitely getting some video out. We're telling agents they need to do video, but if we're not doing it, what kind of example are we, So we definitely have been getting out there with video, and that's kind of where we were at. It's just definitely, we structure our business a lot like realtors. So
yeah, and being involved in there's so many organizations, and associations. And so also staying involved with those and the events that are happening, and contributing to the community as a whole too, as much as we can. We have a lot of ideas in our day to day, and if we can give back in any way on a bigger scale, it's also super valuable. I get a lot from that, and you get to meet a lot of people, and so also staying involved.
So you guys mentioned clients a lot. Can you define when you're an escrow rep, what is a client? Is it the person signing the docs at the end of the day, or is your client the realtor?
Both.
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 They're both our clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everything we do is for the client, which is the agent's client, right? For the person, the buyer, the seller, everything comes down to them. We want to create the better experience for them, which in turn will create a better experience for the agents. If your client walks out of or closes escrow with us and they walk out of the office and they're happy, then that makes the agent look better. And because we are a part of the agent's team. We're a reflection of them. So we want to ultimately, our goal is to provide that amazing experience for the clients, which is the buyers and sellers.
Where's your office located?
We have 3. So we have the Mission Valley one, which is our corporate. It's Camino del Rio North. And then we have Chula Vista and we have Carlsbad.
Whoo! And where's the Chula Vista one?
On H and 3rd.
On H and 3rd.
The Gateway Building.
Oh, yeah. Dude, many moons ago, like back in 2005 or 2004, something like that, I used to work in that building. I used to manage that H&R Block office.
Oh, no way. Yeah, the first floor there.
Yeah. Crazy.
Nice.
That's a nice spot, though.
Yeah, I want to know more about your background. I know you got your hands on a lot of different areas and sectors. I had my first business. I bought my first house when I was 20. And then I got into real estate investing back then. I started a computer repair company that ended up folding, and I ended up going broke trying to close that thing down. But luckily, as far as real estate, I sold all my properties when it was still hot, and then the market crashed. So when the market crashed, I got into doing taxes, because that's one of the main reasons I went broke. I didn't know anything about taxes. So I had company with payroll and all that stuff, and I didn't know about filing tax returns. What the hell was that? So I got my background in accounting, got my degree in accounting, a background in taxes, and I owned a game truck for a while, doing kid birthday parties, flipped properties. Yeah.
And then I got my teaching credential in math. I have an insurance company that I own, and I got into this thing called podcasting. It's been amazing. So much.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though. I mean, we were recently on a call with Jesse Wright for the Real Producers community, and so one of the things that she had us do is did breakout sessions, and we all talked about some of the things that we've experienced in the past, like hardships, and how that translates into the things that we're going through today. I'm just really curious to know, maybe offline, but when you went through your company,
when I went broke.
Yeah,
going broke sucks, dude.
What that does to your brain, that mental resilience. It's just, I'm fascinated by all of
I'll share with you for a few minutes here. So when I went broke, so I had experienced my parents losing their home. I was born in LA. My parents wanted to move us here to San Diego to avoid gangs. That didn't work. I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, so it was everywhere anyways. But when we moved to San Diego, the company that my dad worked for, they laid him off, and so my parents ended up filing bankruptcy and all that stuff. So when I got in financial trouble, my dad was like, "Oh, you just filed for bankruptcy. It's cool." So that's what I did. And I remember going to the bankruptcy attorney, and that business had failed, but I had already been bitten by that entrepreneurial bug, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to get on this next one. I'm going to do it right this time. Right. And so I remember talking to that attorney thinking, and you wanted to know where my mindset was. One of the questions I asked him was, when can I start making money again? And he was like, well, as soon as we close this case, you can do what you want. And I was like, cool. And like, I mean, that was 2000, I want to say like 2006. It was 2006 because I remember I had closed the business, filed for bankruptcy, and I had like $20,000 to my name, and I was getting married in like 6 months. I was completely broke and at the very bottom, and she still wanted to stay with me. So I guess it worked out, right?
That's love.
No, so no, funny thing though, before that, because we'd been dating for like 6 years before we were going to get married. And I was going to make her sign a prenup, and she was like, no, hell no, I'm never going to sign a prenup. And then by the time we were going to get married, I was broke. So it didn't matter anyways.
Thanks for sharing.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, it's always been like, you know, like for example, right now, my insurance company, one of my biggest concerns is when people are going to have to choose between paying their insurance bill or putting food on the table, they're going to choose food on the table. So I'm expecting in my insurance agency to drop maybe like 30-40% of our revenue in the next couple months. And so for me, when things are hectic, I feel like that's when I thrive. That's when that's when I solve more problems. That's when my back's against the wall. I work harder. Like we're in COVID right now, lockdown. I'm working my butt off. Like I work more now than when I had my normal schedule. So
Yeah.
I you know, for me, it's like, I actually like these times. I think when you have economic shifts, money and wealth doesn't disappear, just changes hands. So you're either the one handing it off or you're the one with your hand open, bringing it in. So I'd rather be the one looking for opportunities than the one, you know, dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Trey and I were actually talking about this, and I know I mentioned it to you, is that we have been working so hard ever since, you know, the stay-at-home order came into place, and we've actually been working from home a little before that, just to be cautious. But I think that it's also important that we take care of ourselves, right? Because we've been nonstop, go, problem solving, coming up with ideas, trying to figure out, you know, yeah, we're all day talking to people, all day on Zoom calls, all day trying to, you know, brainstorm and seeing what's next, that we kind of forget about taking care of ourselves. And I think a lot of people are probably going through this right now. So it's kind of important to touch on, because it's okay to take an hour or two, you know, for yourself in the middle of the day, go take a walk, you know, make some food, or just take some time where you're not looking at your phone, you're not looking through your email, you're not watching the news, not scrolling through Facebook, and just like focus on you for a little bit, because it's important. I think everyone being in like close quarters and not having access to being around a lot of people, not being able to be in restaurants or just out and about can really affect you. So I think that's important.
100%. I miss my gym. I would get up in the morning, 5 in the morning, go to the gym. I'd be at the gym by 5, right? Do my exercise. And now I can't do that. So my 5 a.m. club challenge, we're doing this challenge, like something to make yourself, you know, just to challenge yourself a little bit in the morning. So my thing is I'm doing 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups every hour for 4 hours in the morning. So like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. And I put alarms on my phone. So every time my alarm goes off, I gotta drop to the ground, do my thing, right? But it's helping me out. And then at the end of the day, I do exactly what you're talking about. Like I've been on this thing all day long. And so I check out, and then I put my shorts on, put my like shoes on, and I go off for a run. And I feel like at least I get some clarity. Throw on my M&M and I'm solid.
I want to join the challenge. I've been having a hard time balancing, like I was so diving into work, and it's so easy to hop on the computer at 9 o'clock at night and do more work because I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost track of keeping a workout routine going. So I'm going to hit you up on that challenge.
For shizzle, 5 a.m. clubs.
I missed it. Yeah, I was a 6 a.m.er at the gym. And so now that I'm like not doing that, it's really like messing with like my balance. So I'm like, okay, I need some accountability right now, because
I've seen those memes. You're gonna either end up looking like, you know, you go into the COVID looking like Thor, and you come out looking like Fat Thor. Like that's, I'm afraid of that. Yeah.
19 pounds.
Yeah, COVID-19 pounds.
Summer is canceled. It's okay.
Summer's canceled. Man, I've been working all year for this thing.
I was all, phew, so fresh on my shoulders.
Well, ladies, hey, thank you guys for coming on the show. Really had fun with you guys.
Thank you so much for having us once again.
I can see why people like to work with New Venture Escrow. You guys are fun.
Oh, and this is just the start.
Yeah. We're not just fun. There's a lot more to it, but we do like to, have fun with people we work with and just bring value.
100%. Value all day. Well, ladies and gents, again, by the way, how do people get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
You can call me 619-807-0711. Email Tania at newventureescrow.com. Find me on Instagram at TaniaNVE, and then Trey can give you her info.
619-392-6862. Hit me up on Instagram, Andrea Martino. I go by Trey, and so my email is trey@newventureescrow.com. But yeah, happy to be a resource, and thanks again.
I found Trey on TikTok, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Hey, people are like, work on your digital marketing, educate yourself on things you don't know yet. So I was like, TikTok.
TikTok's fun, dude.
No, yeah, it's actually, the more I engage with it, obviously it shows me more things that I want to look at. It's actually very informative. I've learned a lot.
Informative? I don't know about that. It's definitely like a trap. Like you can start looking at TikToks and then you're like, oh crap, like an hour went by.
Oh no, I'm learning about like investing in stocks and how to go about it, what to look at right now. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it depends on who you follow, I guess. My daughter kind of ran my TikTok for a while, so I see like little girls dancing and stuff.
Yeah, all the dances. Yeah, if you start looking into look into the hashtags, like whether it's like real estate, a lot of agents are being really like educational on there. Or other businesses, it's really neat. If you start kind of really looking around, there's so much information on it, but it's information that's given in an entertaining way, which is what makes it better.
In 15 seconds, it's awesome.
Yeah, cut and dry, straight to the point.
Straight to the point. That's the best part.
All right, ladies and gents. Ladies, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
And we're out.